I'm in third grade. My class has just finished reading Charlotte's Web. A kind, innocent pig Wilbur befriends a gray spider named Charlotte. Charlotte is motherly and caring, but more importantly, she saves Wilbur's life by weaving these beautiful, positive messages about him in her web. So at the next book fair, my mom gives me money and I spend $3 on my very own hardcover copy of the book. When I get it, I'm so excited, I run home, I crack the spine, I flip the first page so fast I almost tear it. I've got to take a breath, calm down, and I read the first chapter again. This is where Fern, the 11-year-old protagonist, convinces her father not to kill the runt pig of the litter. And in fact, she physically holds back his axe so that he doesn't do it. The excitement of that first page just enchants me into reading the first chapter again. When I'm done, I lay it down on my nightstand, and there it will stay, but never idle enough to collect dust, because I'll keep going back to it time and again. I will read it for empowerment, for comfort, and for confidence. My favorite chapter is still dog-eared. It's called Loneliness. Poor Wilbur, no one will play with him, not the geese, not the sheep, not the rat. And he sits in a pile of manure and cries all day, until at the end of that day, he hears a kind voice say, "I'll be your friend." And it's Charlotte, the gray spider whose web is stretched across the corner of the entrance to the barnyard door. Wilbur looks up at her and finally feels some glimmer of hope. That night, I continue reading that story, and I remember why I loved it so much in the first place. I am like Fern, that 11-year-old girl who can spend hours a day sitting in a barn listening and watching to the animals talk and play out their story. At first, the reader thinks that maybe this is all in her imagination, but no. Full chapters are written through Wilbur's perspective. I mean, these animals, they live lives and they talk for real. And my favorite part in the whole book is when Fern's mother goes to see the family doctor. She's concerned because, well, her daughter just said that she can hear animals talk. But the doctor says the most wonderful thing to the mom. He says to her, "If Fern says that the animals in Zuckerman's barn can talk, then I am quite ready to believe her." The book was written in 1952. You've got this middle-aged male character say to the mom, "Listen to your daughter. Believe the little girl. Indulge her curiosity." That's empowerment. It's a quiet book, and it takes the reader no further than a barn to understand really difficult issues like death, loss, grief, the complications of friendship, the need for acceptance. But for me, I'm like Fern. I too can sit for hours by myself and not feel lonely. That is, until about halfway through 5th grade. My best friend and I just had some stupid argument, so he's sitting at the front of the bus, and I'm sitting all by myself. And I think back to Charlotte's Web with Wilbur in that pile of manure, crying because he's lonely and depressed, and I'm like, I feel you, pig. But I'm not going to start crying on the bus. Instead, I take out my copy of Charlotte's Web, and I open it up in front of me, and it's like the shield, right? It just blocks everyone and everything out, and I can focus on just the words and the images in my direct line of vision. That's comfort. That is until the 2 stupid boys who are sitting right in front of me turn around and start teasing me. One leans in and he pushes down my shield and he says, "Hey, Leia, lay an egg." But then he crumples up a paper bag and he throws it at me. And I know there's something in the bag, like maybe an apple core or an orange peel, whatever it is, it smells like day-old garbage left out in the sun. And it makes me feel pretty crappy. But at the same time, I can't help but think about Wilbur because damn, he would love that apple core and that orange peel. So I look at the boys, and I'm smiling because I'm kind of thinking about Wilbur, and I could tell they don't like that. So one of them leans in even closer, so close that I can smell his salami, hot pepper, and provolone sandwich on his breath. And he says to me again, "Hey, Leia, lay an egg." But now it's his friend who crumples up his bag and throws it at me. But there's something heavier and smellier in that bag. Now I'm getting angry. But again, I'm thinking of Charlotte's Web. I'll tell you why. Because a goose lays 8 eggs, but one of them does not hatch. It's a dud. It's rotten. The rat, Templeton, comes along, steals the egg, stores it in its hidey hole. Meanwhile, Fern's older brother Avery comes into the barn, sees Charlotte the spider up in her web, and wants to catch her and put her in a jar. But Wilbur, Charlotte's best friend's not having any of that. So he charges at Avery, who trips and falls on the rotten egg, and it explodes into a stink bomb. It is the most fun scene to read in that book, and thinking about it makes me laugh. But the boys think I'm laughing at them. And so they lean in just a little bit closer, and they start to say the most vile, nasty things that no 10-year-old girl has any business hearing. I think that I can take my book and smash it in their face, because really, it would make a good weapon. I mean, it's lightweight, it's rigid and hard, and I could do some damage to his nose, definitely. But just before I do it, I hear Charlotte's voice, who tells Wilbur, just as Wilbur is going in through this melodramatic breakdown right after the sheep has told him why he's eating so well, because the farmer's fattening him up to butcher him for Christmas dinner, and he's crying and he's wailing, and Charlotte says, "Stop it. You're going on in a childish way. Now be quiet." And so instead of smashing my book in his face, I raise it in front of me, like a shield, and I just continue reading. And something really weird happens. The boys stop making fun of me. They stop throwing their garbage at me forever, because I'm pretty sure they expected me to start freaking out like Wilbur does, and this they don't know what to do with. I'm just the weirdo who reads on the bus. But I'll take it. Or maybe I learned from Charlotte that quiet, gentle rebellion is the perfect way to boggle people into shutting the hell up. That's confidence. And Charlotte's Web is still such an important book, because it teaches us that even though things are not here forever, when they are, they're magnificent. It teaches us to be quiet and listen a little bit longer. It teaches us that we grow up, but we don't grow out of kindness. We take it, we wield it, we make it our own, we pass it on. I love that book. And it has yet to collect dust. Thank you.